name is Luke John Munro, 21 years old, from the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. My local break is the Alley, Currumbin Alley. I grew up surfing there since I was 7, and it's a good way to get away from Snapper and Kira, just to go surf the Alley.
Luke Munro is like one of the most laid-back surfers when he surfs. He just looks like he's just cruising, you know, and then he just throws a big, big throw off the top or big cutback. You know, that's sort of Luke's thing, his big top turns. But he just looks really relaxed when he surfs.
I'm probably most comfortable in rights for a start, and rights that have a barrel to them. Having a good section in a movie is always something you've wanted to do, because since you're 10, you've watched movies like Focus, Momentum, and seen all your heroes with a good song.
My name is Masato Shono, 23 years old. I'm from Japan. I grew up in Shizuoka, Shimoda, Izu.
He's really a flowing surfer. You know, his approach is much more fluid and kind of like it looks like he's constantly feeling the wave out and just sort of goes with the flow. He doesn't try to overpower waves. He doesn't try to like outdo a wave or overdo a wave. It's like he just kind of tries to fit it in and move with the wave.
I'm Ryan Craig, I'm 19 years old and I'm from Kalbarri in Western Australia. It's pretty much in the desert, but I like to think of it as the oasis in the desert. I love it up there. Fishing, eating and surfing, sleeping, that's all you can do. I pretty much grew up surfing just all reef breaks. And they're all left-handers too, there's hardly any rights up there, so yeah, just big left-hand point breaks.
You know, he really shines in lefts. It sort of looks to me like he grew up surfing a left point break or something.
Yeah, probably my favourite manoeuvre, which I feel the strongest doing, is probably like a forehand re-entry, sort of fin waft type of thing.
If you watch what he's doing, he's getting so critical, and then it looks like he's going to dig or something, and he just adjusts it with the back foot, with his heel or his toe, just on the back foot, and just puts a little more pressure and would just come out of it so smooth. I'm Kelly Slater, 32 years old, from Cocoa Beach, Florida. I didn't probably surf a reef break until I was, I don't know, in my early teens almost. I was influenced by, you know, Bertlemann and Buttons and Potts and then Tom Carroll and Curran and Richard Cram. And it was all sort of like, those guys were into, you know, the first couple guys I mentioned were into sort of tricks and doing airs and stuff, and then there was still that real power base to their surfing though. To hear that, you know, kids are inspired by what I do is just like unbelievable, you know. I would never imagine when I was a kid somebody say that I was their favorite surfer or something, you know.
Dane Reynolds, 18 years old, from Ventura, California. I moved to Ventura when I was about, say, 10. That's when I started surfing.
You know, he's got a very unique style. His approach is really all about doing big moves. Everything he does is like totally committed, whether it's just a turn or doing an air. I don't know, it's like bigger is better.
I'd say frontside's my strong point.
My name is Jeremy Flores, I'm 16 years old and I'm from Reunion Island. I learned surfing in Reunion Island at a very young age, 3 years old.
Jeremy's like a child prodigy. I saw him surf Burley I think when he's 12 years old, and it was the most developed I've ever seen someone at that age.
My weak point is probably power.
When he grows into his abilities, it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Well, I heard about this trip maybe a month ago, 2 months maybe. Pretty stoked to come on a trip with Kelly. I've never been on a trip with him before.
Yeah, having like a bunch of legends like on this trip just makes the trip that much more fun for everyone.
The winds are pretty light around here. I mean, at least most of the trips I've done, it's been pretty light winds, and no matter which way the wind blows, it'll be offshore somewhere because the waves just warp and bend every which way. Those waves, like going 180-degree angles, are just like coming at each other pretty much, so it'll be offshore somewhere no matter what wind it is. Lance is right, there's a little village on the beach, so when you pull up to the surf spot, they see a new boat, so they see an opportunity to make some money, and they'll paddle out their little tiny dugout canoes and try to sell you all their little goods. Make some pretty cool stuff. They're definitely good craftsmen.
Culture in Indonesia is just bizarre. Like, you come to these remote little islands in the middle of nowhere and there's people in these little huts just like living off the fish.
The quality of the waves, you can't really beat it anywhere in the world you go. I mean, the consistency and the quality of the surf is amazing, how good waves can be, and they're all so close together.
The thing about when you come to surfing, mental-wise, it's just so clean. It's ruler edge, perfect reefs and swells.
All the rights here seem to be real short, two-turn type of waves, and all the lefts are the point break type of surf.
Just seeing this boat and the thing was just massive and pretty much just like being in a 5-star hotel. Like.
It's the best boat I've been on out here. Definitely, I couldn't ask for anything better.
Rick Dorr shoots all the water stuff. He's genius. He'll swim all day, and just when you think that he's going in, he'll be right in the best spot, getting the shot.
Needham is just a goofball, posing. He's got a shirt with muscles all over it.
Scotty's definitely a character. At the beginning of the trip, I didn't know what to think of him because he's always doing this just weird stuff. Like, I don't know where he comes up with it.
I think we were all pretty lucky on this trip. We all had a really good crew, and I think everyone had a really good time.
Yeah, everybody on this trip it's a good mixture of people. It's so fun. I've had a great time.
Living out of a suitcase and traveling the world is not everyone's idea of fun, but it sure is ours. Especially if it's for the chance to leave the tourist trail behind and see what's really out there. It's easier than you think. Just grab that boarding pass and go. There are places to go and people to meet all over the world. Some are competing in events, some are just doing what they love. The boarding pass follows the world's leading board riders as they travel the globe in search of the ultimate board riding adventure.
It's a wonderful experience just to come to a part of the world that I've never really explored before. Sparks all the cells in your body. Yeah, it's, you know, just like anywhere new and different and that you've never been before. It has a different smell and flavour in every way. We flew directly over top of a couple of volcanoes and looked down into them, and a couple of them were active, and they just looked extraordinary. It just looked so kind of prehistoric, and this was a land that was very, very alive, very fertile.
Whether it's the smell of rum, the heat, the guns, or the Latino women, there's a certain electricity about life in Central America that you just can't put your finger on. Like the Spanish that colonized this area in search of gold, you never know what you might find. The Quicksilver Crossing sailed into the waters of Central America in search of something else: empty surf. On board for the first leg of the trip were Hawaii's Evan Valier, California's Josh Hoyer, and crossing veteran Puerto Rico's Dylan Graves. On their first couple of days, Martin and the new crew checked every beach and headland of nearly 100 miles of coastline. Looking for waves he was sure must be there.
We are heading south, looking for surf.
After a day of searching, the best wave they found was this. It wasn't too bad, but a little too fat and a little too lumpy. Maybe the advice about wave quality in this area was right. But after a day of motoring, everyone wanted to get wet, and we hoped that a drop in tide might clean up the swell hitting the reef. Slowly, as the water got shallower and the swell built, our unnamed, and as far as we know, never been surfed before reef started doing this.
No way.
When we first got there, it was really bad, and then later on in the day, it just turned on because of the tide or something. It started to barrel, and it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the easiest, friendliest, and most makeable barrels anyone could hope for.
A lot better at lower tide, that's for sure. Definitely low tide stuff.
After finding such a great wave after only a few days of motoring, Martin wanted to continue down the coast. Incredibly, only a few miles away they discovered yet another classy left-hander. Heavier and less predictable than the previous day, this left we named the Grave, in honor of Dylan Graves, following this heroic effort on his very first wave.
The Grave was such a good wave. If you really got that place wired, you can just be dropping in behind that section, getting shacked every time.
Evan broke his leash on this wave, but continued to surf without one. Here's Evan's leash replacement maneuver.
Well, the grave was really not what I expected to catch here.